that breaking news. The word that Elon Musk will be leaving his government role in the coming months, according to President Trump himself. Let me bring in Garrett Haake. I mean, a lot of people might look at this and say, last night, terrible for Republicans. We've seen the polling on Elon Musk, but tell us what we know about what appears to be a decision.
Damas y caballeros, lo que todos venían sospechando, al parecer está a punto de suceder. Elon Musk, el magnate de la imprevisibilidad, este sicario corporativo de Washington, el juguete favorito de Donald Trump, o a veces al revés, está en la cuerda floja. Hay fuentes cercanas que han filtrado en la Casa Blanca, donde afirman que Elon Musk dejaría su papel central en esta administración en cuestión de unas cuantas semanas. La gran pregunta es, ¿lo están echando? ¿O simplemente se dieron cuenta de que se metió en un juego demasiado peligroso? Sean bienvenidos a Políticamente, Desacuerdo. Amigos, hoy veremos cómo Donald Trump le ha dicho a su círculo íntimo que Elon Musk se marchará pronto. Así que los invito a que se queden hasta el final de este video porque veremos los detalles más interesantes. Amigos, cuando Donald Trump volvió a la Casa Blanca, muchos pensaron que Elon Musk sería esta mano derecha. Sería su ejecutor dentro del gobierno. En un principio así fue, ya que Musk se vendió como este genio que iba a optimizar el gobierno con su iniciativa de eficiencia. Pero la realidad fue muy distinta. Su gestión es un caos absoluto. Vemos decisiones impulsivas, vimos despidos masivos y planes ridículos que fueron filtrados en su propia red social.
That breaking news. The word that Elon Musk will be leaving his government role in the coming months, according to President Trump himself. Let me bring in Garrett Haake. I mean, a lot of people might look at this and say, last night, terrible for Republicans. We've seen the polling on Elon Musk, but tell us what we know about what appears to be a decision.
Well, Chris, I hate to argue with a breaking news banner here, but I think this might be less than meets the eye. What we have here is an alignment of public statements and private statements from the president and Elon Musk about how and when his tenure in and around the federal government might be ending. That is supposed to be at the 130-day mark, which is when his term as a special government employee would run up. That is, by most counts, something that happens in late May. Now we're learning, as confirmed by my colleague Gabe Gutierrez, that the president did discuss this possibility privately in a cabinet meeting that was later opened to cameras back on March 24th. That's a little more than a week ago, suggesting that Musk's work may be wrapping up soon and that this may be something where he would be returning to the private sector. The president has said the same thing publicly as recently as Monday, suggesting that, again, the work at Doge may be the kind of thing that Musk could take a step back from in the not too distant future. I think the confluence here of this special election in Wisconsin, which has drawn a lot of attention to Musk's political role out in the country and the struggles some of his businesses have had in his relative absence, combined with this, eagerness to see sort of what's next from Doge, both from Republicans who are kind of tired of defending it and from Democrats who are exhausted by its efforts, have created a lot of interest in Elon Musk's future, which I don't think is any especially clearer today than it was yesterday, except that there does seem to be a focus on the fact that his work can and should and perhaps politically must end sometime in the not too distant future, perhaps just in these next few weeks between now and the end of May.
All right, Garrett, if you have anything else that might be a little clearer, which is always a question in this administration.
Chris, the only thing I can add that's clear is the White House, I can tell you, has just come out to basically deny the substance of this reporting, calling the scoop that undergirds it garbage, and basically saying that even the president and Elon Musk have publicly made this statement. So I think what we're talking about now is a timeline of the next couple of weeks between where we stand at the beginning of April and where this 130-day clock probably runs out at the end of May. There seems to be widespread agreement that by the end of that clock, Elon Musk's role in the federal government will be different. But where we land on that calendar, I think, is still a target of a lot of reporting efforts around Washington.
Well, I think it's interesting, Simone. There had already been a headline in the Wall Street Journal today saying that the MAGA backlash arrives Democrats sought to make the race a referendum on Elon Musk, and Donald Trump and Mr. Musk responded by trying to mobilize the Trump voters who tend to stay home in spring elections. The Democratic bet paid off. What we're hearing, what's reportable from NBC News, they're confirming, a senior White House official, that President Trump did tell cabinet members Elon Musk would be leaving government in the coming months, and that was a bit ago. What do you make of this?
Well, look, a couple weeks ago, and I can't believe we're only a couple weeks into this administration. It feels like months. A couple weeks ago, Trump allies and people who work in the White House were saying, oh, they think Elon Musk is here to stay. You know, I know a lot of Republicans who are connected to the White House, and they were all strategists who were all saying the same thing. Oh, no, they like the work that he's doing. I think he's going to stick around for a while. So I do not disagree with the fact that this timeline was running out, but I also know that this administration that hasn't necessarily adhered to the law, you know, they're playing kind of loose and fast, in my opinion, with the deportations, with what DOJ is doing with these agencies. So the idea that, oh, his 130 days is up, he has to go, is kind of like, I'm sorry, I don't believe that.
Just to remind people, that's the amount of time a quote-unquote special government employee can serve, right?
You know, when I worked in the White House, it was about 180. So I think that, you know, again, it's very convenient. What we do know is this is a fact. Tesla's prices in terms of what they've sold dropped 13%. This is the biggest drop that they've had in 3 years.
In the first quarter.
In the first quarter in 3 years. They sold 50,000 less cars than they've sold. His dealerships are being targeted by these Tesla takedown rallies. Not to mention, a couple weeks ago, he did have a launch that was scheduled in Florida. And that launch, it was unsuccessful. It blew up. That was a couple weeks after the first one blew up. His companies aren't necessarily doing too well. And so if I'm Elon Musk, and I didn't win this election last night, Tillis, who's up for election in 26, Republican in a purple place, sometimes it's blue, sometimes it's red, in North Carolina, is he going to be willing to maybe stand up with his back a little bit straighter now because he's seen the tea leaves in Wisconsin?
So can you, Charlie, is there a risk for Democrats in reading too much into these results? I mean, this was a party that needed a boost. This was a party whose, I think the last poll I saw, approval rating was somewhere around 27%.
21 is low.
Yeah. 21%. Okay. Let's just say that's not good. Are they reading too much into this, or is this an opportunity? Is this an opening? Is this maybe something that would have the White House thinking twice about Elon Musk? I don't know. What do you think?
Well, first of all, hope is always better than despair, isn't it? So I think they ought to cling to this at least for this news cycle. And look,
energy is always better than sitting at home and putting your head under the covers if you're a political party.
Well, exactly. And I don't believe in coincidences and the fact that Elon Musk is humiliated in Wisconsin and the next day we start to get leaks that, well, he's on the way out anyway. I mean, Donald Trump hates nothing more than losers. He hates losing and losers. The problem is, so I'm seeing a lot of this as a little bit of you know, ass covering going on in the White House, trying to distance themselves from this fiasco. But Elon Musk is going to be
we say
difficult.
CYA, okay.
Okay, so well, then I'll put it this way, that I think that Trump is going to find that it's a little bit more difficult to scrape Elon Musk off his shoes because Elon Musk likes the limelight. He likes the celebrity. He likes being co-president. He has a cult of personality of his own. He is still the world's richest man. So it's not like he is going to go quietly into the night. But it's interesting that we are getting this kind of spin coming out of the White House that no, we're almost done with Elon Musk. Elon Musk is a very heavy political boat anchor right now. He turned out to be an anvil to the Republicans. And yes, Republicans all around the country, including people like Tom Tillis, have to be nervous about this because they know how it's going to play and it's not going to get any better, particularly after we have the trade war. And you see that it's showing up in the marketplaces. But I also think that in the White House, this is going to mean that Elon Musk's influence, I think, is going to have a big question mark over it. Is he going to have the kind of clout and the kind of sway with Donald Trump that he had before? Donald Trump has no loyalty to anybody, including Elon Musk. And if he thinks that Elon Musk is a liability, which he is, then I think we're going to have trouble in paradise.
Well, it seems observationally that Elon Musk has enjoyed this white hot spotlight. Let's see if he's willing, if asked or told, to go quietly into that good night.
Ahora bien, a pesar de todos los elogios públicos que por parte de su banda de seguidores, tanto de Trump como de Elon Musk, la verdad, amigos, es que al parecer el círculo interno en Washington ya no lo soporta. Algunos miembros del gabinete y otros aliados republicanos ven a Musk como una bomba de tiempo, una carga política que Donald Trump ya no puede permitirse. Al parecer, no solo ha sido una molestia dentro del gobierno, sino que también ha demostrado ser este lastre en la arena política. Su intervención en lo que fueron estas elecciones judiciales en los pasados días de Wisconsin, amigos, fue un desastre. Apoyó abiertamente a un juez conservador que terminó perdiendo por 10 puntos. Claro, los demócratas no perdieron la oportunidad de poder utilizar a Elon Musk como este villano de la historia. No olvidemos también sus torpes intentos de querer reestructurar el gobierno, ¿no? Desde exigir a empleados federales que hicieran listas de productividad los fines de semana, hasta supuestamente, accidentalmente, recortar fondos de programas claves, como lo es la prevención del ébola. Amigos, hablamos de un torbellino de desorden. Según las fuentes, su salida coincidiría con el fin de su estatus como empleado gubernamental especial, un título que lo eximía temporalmente de ciertas normas éticas, ¿no? O de conflictos de interés. O sea, en otras palabras, se le acabaría la protección especial y ahora es momento de que se marche. Aquí viene un dato muy interesante y es que aunque Donald Trump esté preparando su salida, lógicamente no quiere alejarlo del todo, ¿no? Ya que según sus asesores, Elon Musk podría mantener un rol informal como un tipo de asesor o simplemente aparecer ocasionalmente en la Casa Blanca. O sea, en pocas palabras, va a seguir orbitando alrededor de Trump, pero sin el mismo nivel de poder que tuvo antes. Algunos dentro del círculo de Trump dicen que tener a Elon Musk bastante cerca era una estrategia. Lógicamente, y es algo que yo creo que todos notamos, Elon Musk se llevó las críticas por algunas de las decisiones más controversiales de esta administración. Prácticamente actuó como este escudo para el presidente, ¿no? Pero esa protección solo dura hasta que Musk empiece a perjudicar directamente la imagen de Trump. Y eso es lo que ya está pasando. Ha generado demasiados problemas y la paciencia también dentro de todo este círculo en Washington yo creo que tendrá límites. Si bien en público se seguirán alabando, ¿no? Diciendo que Musk es un patriota, es este genio, tras bambalinas el panorama es otro. La Casa Blanca está intentando desactivar esta bomba de relojería que representa Musk. Todo esto antes de que explote y, lógicamente, termine salpicando a Donald Trump. Y ojo que estamos en camino para las elecciones de medio término. Ojo amigos, los problemas con Musk vienen desde hace tiempo, antes de que Donald Trump haya ganado las elecciones. Algunos aliados ya se quejaban de que Musk pasaba demasiado tiempo en Mar-a-Lago, que buscando congraciarse con el presidente. Y bueno, una vez dentro del gobierno, su caótica forma de operar hizo que los secretarios del gabinete terminaran hartos de él. Señores, lo que realmente ha encendido las alarmas en la Casa Blanca fue esta noticia de que el Pentágono planeaba informarle a Musk sobre los planes de guerra clasificados con China. China, justamente un país donde Elon Musk tiene inversiones multimillonarias con Tesla. ¿Cómo es posible que se le diera acceso a información tan sensible? Cuando esta noticia se filtró, Donald Trump y su jefa de gabinete, Susie Wiles, quedaron en shock. Sabían que esto podía convertirse en un escándalo gigante, ¿no? Recordemos que Trump salió a intentar minimizar este problema públicamente, pero en privado la decisión ya estaba tomada. Musk tiene que ser relegado. Amigos, Elon Musk ha quedado como este aliado útil para Trump en ciertos aspectos, pero también ha sido esta fuente constante de caos, distracciones. Hablamos de frustrar acuerdos políticos, lanzar declaraciones explosivas en podcasts, en redes sociales. Yo creo que su paso por esta administración ha sido todo menos tranquila, ¿no? Y ahora Donald Trump está haciendo lo que mejor sabe hacer: deshacerse de alguien cuando deja de serle útil. ¿Qué sigue para Musk? ¿Realmente se alejará de la política o seguirá operando en las sombras como este asesor informal? Lo que sí sabemos, amigos, es que esta luna de miel ha llegado a su fin. ¿Qué opinan ustedes, amigos? ¿Qué opina la gente que confió en Musk como este outsider que podría arreglar el gobierno, ¿no? ¿Será que finalmente se darán cuenta de que solo fue un peón más en este juego? Los invito a que me dejen sus opiniones en los comentarios. Como siempre, recuerda apoyarme con un like, suscribirte a nuestro canal Políticamente en Desacuerdo, compartir nuestro contenido con tus amigos. Nos vemos en el próximo video. Hasta luego.